in his corner, I don't think he should be fighting at 147 at all. I don't even think he should be fighting at 154.
Really?
I think he should be fighting at 160 or 168.
Wow.
It's just where I'm born at.
So is that kind of a thing with like some of the fighters that are working with Turki Alalshikh now as they go over to Riyadh and you know, a lot of that is invested in the economy there. They're getting paid.
Oh no, I never met him. He seemed like a pretty cool guy. I can't really speak on his situation or speak on another fighter's situation. I'm just telling you my outlook on how just my outlook.
Floyd Mayweather is planning to elevate his exhibition matches after meeting with Turki Alalshikh to discuss a potential exhibition against Terence Crawford during the Riyadh season. This comes after Mayweather expressed his desire to finally put to rest the ongoing debate among boxing fans about who's the better fighter, him or Crawford. While Crawford is the only active boxer with a record close to Mayweather's undefeated 50-0, Mayweather believes it's time to settle the argument in the ring.
Had a chance to hang around Terence, and both guys, class act. Well,
there's also been plenty of talk about who has the stronger resume, but Floyd Mayweather is aiming to achieve two big goals at once, making a massive payday and finally settling the debate between him and Terence Crawford. The meeting between Mayweather and Turki Alalshikh has been a long time coming, as both are major figures in the boxing world. Floyd made the trip to Saudi Arabia specifically to sit down with Alalshikh and discuss his plans for future exhibitions, with a fight against Crawford at the top of the list. However, there's one challenge standing in his way. Crawford is eager to face Canelo Alvarez later this year. But before diving into that, the meeting between Floyd and Turki kicked off with mutual respect and admiration.
No, Crawford, we have a thought about it, but our case, we can support to have.
His Excellency Turki Alalshikh has always spoken highly of Floyd Mayweather, praising his undefeated record. He's often said that every fighter dreams of having a career like Mayweather's, one with no losses, which only happens once in a generation, maybe every 50, 60, or even 70 years. He made this point just last month in a discussion with Carl Froch. With the Riyadh season and UFC president Dana White teaming up, Turki Alalshikh has big plans to simplify the sport and open up new opportunities for both fighters and fans. His vision is one where a boxer's worth isn't defined by the number of losses on their record. So, what does Floyd Mayweather think about these new developments in the sport?
What's up, bro? Keep it a stack. Did you in your head size up Floyd? Like, you know what I'm saying? If we was ever keep it real, boss, keep it real.
I'm never that.
In a recent interview with Brian Mackey, Floyd Mayweather shared what's currently on his mind, while also offering some straightforward advice to the younger generation. During the conversation, Alalshikh's name came up as Mayweather spoke about making local investments and growing businesses in one's own country. Mackey then brought up the trend of fighters moving to Riyadh for a bigger paycheck. However, Mayweather wasn't too concerned about this trend. In a simple response, he said, "I don't know, I've never met him, but he seems like a pretty cool guy." While Mayweather didn't offer any strong opinions on Alalshikh or the fighters involved in the Riyadh season, he made it clear that he can only speak from his own experiences.
Always been happy for him, been a fan of his, and I never imagined us fight. I never looked at him like.
"I can't really speak on his situation or another fighter's situation," the 47-year-old Mayweather said. He emphasized that his focus is on his own investments and offering advice to the younger generation, urging them to think carefully about their financial futures. So, what led to the conversation about Turki Alalshikh in the first place? During the same interview with Brian Mackey, Mayweather was also asked about his health regimen and the lessons he's learned throughout his legendary boxing career. His response was thoughtful and insightful. He explained that health is real wealth, and how his commitment to fitness has helped him build his own supplement line and fitness gyms, which he is now expanding globally.
Life on my investments and giving the young generation some advice.
Yes, for sure. And obviously, your story is 100% a success story. You know, if people know about areas in Grand Rapids, and to see where you were, where you came from and where you are now is 100%.
Well, it wasn't just Grand Rapids. I had a chance. My mother, her family is from Jersey.
Floyd Mayweather shared that after retiring, he was frequently asked about the vitamins and workouts that kept him in top shape. This led him to create a supplement line called One of One. The reason behind it was simple: people are dying very, very early, Mayweather explained. He also discussed his investments, particularly in real estate, and encouraged the younger generation to make smart, accessible investments that offer a good return. His real estate venture, V Properties, is one example of how he's working to give back to his home country. Mayweather offered this advice to younger investors: if you do invest in anything, you have to be able to reach your investment in a certain amount of time. He added that he prefers to invest in the US because he understands the laws and regulations here, unlike foreign markets, which could change unexpectedly.
As well as New York and Florida. So when I was a kid, I would go back and forth. A lot of times in Jersey, a lot of time in New York. Then I go back to Grand Rapids. So born and raised in Grand Rapids, but I spent a lot of time in Jersey as well as New York when I was young. Awesome.
Got you. So you talking about career, and I think a lot of that does really tie into what you're doing now, and I'm sure there's definitely tie-ins.
Floyd Mayweather believes that this approach gives him more secure and predictable returns. I try to invest in my country. I try not to invest in another country because the laws may change. I know the laws where I live and where I was born, said the 15-time world champion. He noted that he and Turki Alalshikh share a common trait: both are smart investors, not just in other ventures, but also in the sport of boxing. During this time, Terence Crawford and Turki Alalshikh were working hard to make the Canelo fight happen.
Yes, man type. You know what I mean?
I'm not worried about Canelo. I'm not thinking about Canelo. I'm just focused on Israel Magno.
In a small way, is this a stepping stone to your dream fight?
I don't look at fights as stepping stones. It's about...
In the past, Canelo Alvarez had asked for $110 million for a fight, while he demanded $200 million for a bout against David Benavidez, which he considers a higher risk due to the size difference between them. Not long ago, Canelo was asked how much he would want to fight Terence Crawford, and he told a reporter he'd need $150 million. It's unclear whether this was a serious demand or just posturing. What is also uncertain is whether this response led Alalshikh to rethink or even abandon plans to create a Canelo-Crawford showdown.
And he want 150 million to fight me. So that just lets me know right there that I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to his leg.
Anyone who's been around the boxing world for a while knows that negotiations can be unpredictable, with the outcome often feeling uncertain until the very end. In boxing, death can almost feel like a daily reality during fight talks. However, if both sides genuinely want the fight to happen, it's likely to come together eventually.
Estoy pidiendo esa pelea, al final
Claro que no, la quiero para mi hijo, por favor.
Sí, no, aquí yo creo que Crawford needs to fight Teofimo first, and then we'll see, right? At the end of the day, like I said before, I'm not asking for that fight. They wanna make that fight because it's a payday, obviously, but I don't want that fight. I think Teofimo deserves more than me.
He's the king at 140 right now.
Turki has said that he's...
Despite interest from promoters, Canelo Alvarez has seemingly cooled off the idea of a mega fight with Terence Crawford. During a conversation with the media, Canelo explained why he asked for $150 million to fight Crawford. Canelo Alvarez acknowledged that fighting Terence Crawford would be a risk, calling Crawford a great fighter, but he also made it clear that if the money's right, the fight could happen tomorrow. However, the $150 million fee would require a huge gate for promoters to make any profit, and Turki Alalshikh understands this well. Taking to social media to respond, Alalshikh dismissed Canelo's demand, saying, "I heard Canelo say that he respects me but doesn't like the way we do business. As for him respecting me, it doesn't matter to me if he does or not. As for the way I do business, I know why he doesn't like it. I only target big fights at fair prices. So of course, anyone who prefers easy fights won't like that."
Interested in the fight anymore. What's your reaction or your response to that?
Wait, take it easy. My response to Turkey is this. Yesterday, they text me. They text me and say, we can talk about the fight in February with Crawford. Yeah. They text me yesterday, and I say, look, I'm not gonna talk about any other fight. I'm focused 100% on...
That's not all. Alalshikh also questioned Canelo Alvarez's abilities as a fighter. He stated that Canelo has been seeking easier fights ever since his loss to Dimitri Bivol, adding, "I know how he feels after losing to Bivol, so he's been looking for easier fights ever since." Alec made it clear that he's not afraid of fighting Benavidez or Crawford, which is why he felt Canelo was just wasting time and making excuses about huge amounts of money that couldn't actually be paid. "I'm focused on making big fights that benefit the sport of boxing, while he's heading down a path of easy, show-only fights," Alec remarked.
Canelo's going back and forth with Turki, and if that fight is off the table, are you really motivated still by becoming undisputed at 54? And yeah, like what?
The situation was particularly disappointing for Terence Crawford, who had viewed a fight against Canelo Alvarez as the biggest opportunity of his career, one that would guarantee him his highest payday. After months of delays in talks, Crawford has now agreed to a $100 million purse for the fight. There's no doubt that Terence Crawford is currently one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. After becoming a four-weight world champion in August by defeating WBA super welterweight champion Israel Madrimov, the boxing world is truly his oyster. Terence Crawford has been linked to several big names for his next fight, including unified super middleweight champion Saul Canelo Alvarez. Since making his debut in the Riyadh season against Madrimov, these fantasy matchups are looking more realistic. However, fans will have to wait a bit longer to see Crawford back in the ring. Appearing on Don's Ariel in the boxing show, His Excellency Turki Alalshikh, the man behind the Riyadh season events, revealed that Crawford was a possibility for the recently announced card. Unfortunately, Crawford won't be fighting until later in 2025. "I tried and pushed to make this fight happen, but Crawford is not ready," Alalshikh said.
What's the biggest motivating goal or fight out there if the Canelo fight just can't happen?
To be honest, that was my motivation. Like, you know, it's crazy and it makes me laugh.
Crawford is dealing with a minor health issue and a slight injury, but he prefers to fight with us either in May or after May. While there has been no official announcement yet, the talks surrounding this potential super fight are becoming more intense. Boxing insiders suggest that if this fight happens, it could be one of the largest events ever staged in Las Vegas. While details are still coming together, speculation points to a possible fight date in late 2025, with September 16th being a strong contender, as it aligns perfectly with Canelo's tradition of fighting around Mexican Independence Day. Fans and analysts are eagerly awaiting confirmation, hoping for a thrilling showdown that could change the course of boxing.
That Canelo is doing and saying in the media and whatnot about the size and he won't get no credit and all this type of things, but Canelo been fighting smaller guys his whole career.
Crawford, stepping up from light middleweight, is aiming to join the elite ranks by securing a championship in a third weight class. This clash is shaping up to be legendary, showcasing two of the sport's brightest stars going head-to-head.
He wants to fight, he's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy.
A high-definition, realistic image of eager boxing fans anticipating a possible mega-fight is shown in a lively, packed arena. Some of the fans are holding up banners with rallying cries for the exciting match, and the electric atmosphere of anticipation and the announcement on the main screen indicate that, if it happens, this fight could rank among the biggest events ever held in Las Vegas. While details are still unfolding, speculation suggests a potential fight date in late 2025, with September 16th being a strong possibility. This date aligns perfectly with Canelo Alvarez's tradition of fighting around Mexican Independence Day, making it an ideal time for such a high-profile showdown.
Better, no? Terence Crawford is a great fighter, he's a good fighter, but like I say, he's weight classes for a reason.
In an interesting twist, early predictions about the fight's outcome have started to surface. Analysis suggests that Terence Crawford might take the first round cautiously, using it to evaluate Canelo Alvarez's style. As the rounds progress, the fight is expected to become a tactical battle, with Crawford potentially edging out a victory by a narrow split decision. The fight is anticipated to be close, with both fighters showcasing their skills in a high-stakes showdown.
Look, I don't like the way he talk, and I'm not in this position because of any. I'm in this position if he wants to work with me, it's in my way, not in their way.
What was
I don't need it.
What didn't you like about how he approached? Like, what was?
It's not the.
Regardless of the final result, both fighters are set to leave a lasting legacy in the sport. Will Canelo's power and experience overcome Crawford's technique? Only time will tell. However, recent discussions about a potential fight between Canelo and Crawford, proposed by Turki Alalshikh, have sparked a media frenzy. After Canelo Alvarez's humorous comment, Turki Alalshikh stated that he is no longer interested in pursuing the fight. Instead, he's decided to shift focus, announcing that he will prioritize building Crawford's profile in the US market and promoting other top fighters like Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, and Gervonta Davis. Alalshikh then shared on X late Monday night, "Just wrapped up an important meeting with my team, planning the upcoming fights for 2024 and 2025. I've decided to disregard the Canelo fight because I don't want it anymore. I'll be focusing on the US market with bigger fights, especially for the legendary Crawford." He added, "I'm focusing on the Riyadh season card, Wembley edition, on September 21st with Anthony Joshua vs. Dubois. Depending on the results of that and the Riyadh season opening card, Bivol vs. Beterbiev on October 12th, I will build the card for the rematch between Fury and Usyk on December 21st and another big card for the first quarter of 2025. Stay tuned." Meanwhile, 4-division and unified super middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez revealed he told his occasional promoter, Eddie Hearn, the same thing during the first stop of his press tour.
Way to approach. It's not the way to approach to me. Look, I respect everybody and I respect Turkey, but look, if he wants to work with me, it need to be in my way.
Okay. You said you feel Crawford is easy. You felt that Crawford to you is easy money.
Eddie Hearn asked me, "Hey, we want to talk about the Crawford fight in February. Turki Alalshikh wants to meet you in person in Los Angeles," Canelo Alvarez explained. But Canelo responded, "I said, look, I don't want to talk about the fight." It's clear that some people have put Alalshikh on pause. His deep investment in boxing has led many fighters to flock to Saudi Arabia or accept purses they've never seen before to compete under his Riyadh season banner.
The Crawford fight for February or meet to yesterday here in Los Angeles with him, and I said, look,
The height of Turki Alalshikh's ring presence came Saturday night at the Los Angeles card, where Terence Crawford edged Israil Madrimov by unanimous decision to capture the WBA 154 pounds title. Interrupting the flow of the event, the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame, along with promoters Eddie Hearn and Oscar de la Hoya, held a ring ceremony to grant Alalshikh a special induction into the hall, despite the fact that he has never staged a fight in the state. Meanwhile, Canelo Alvarez was bowing to no one, remaining focused on his own path.
Focus on this fight, and I can talk about other fights. Maybe that's why he talked about that today, because I say I'm not ready to talk about other fights.
Maybe that's why they talked about it today, because I said I'm not ready to talk about other fights, Alvarez said. Maybe that's why they announced this, because I said no, I don't want to talk about the fight. I'm very focused on this fight. Alalshikh, however, hinted at a stunning development that got the boxing world buzzing. He stated that the UFC card would overshadow Alvarez's show, as a dream matchup between Canelo and Crawford inches closer to reality. Turki Alalshikh, the mastermind behind Riyadh season, dropped a bombshell about the potential fight, sparking even more excitement and speculation in the boxing community.
He said that he would be willing to do whatever you want to fight Crawford.
I give him the offer. If he's smart, he will accept it.
That'll work. So if yeah, you're in. So if the numbers were right with Crawford, you'll do it.
Why not?
The chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, Turki Alalshikh, revealed that he made an offer to Canelo Alvarez for a potential mega fight that could pit two of boxing's brightest stars against each other. Alalshikh didn't hold back when discussing the proposal with DAZN, saying, "I gave Alvarez an offer. If he's smart, he'll accept it. If they accept, we want to see this fight. But if he doesn't, I want Ortiz." Meanwhile, Floyd Mayweather doesn't seem too interested in the Canelo-Crawford matchup, as his focus remains on making the most money possible from an exhibition fight with Terence Crawford. Mayweather's priorities seem more centered on lucrative exhibitions rather than competing in high-profile bouts like Canelo versus Crawford.
I think Crawford, don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter. But for me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. For me, easy money. So if the money is right, I'm in. Because, you know, I don't like to fight guys like Crawford because he move a lot and the fight is not that great.
Crawford is still active, and while a potential fight against Canelo Alvarez may seem like an impossible pursuit, if Crawford does decide to retire after that bout, Floyd Mayweather might gear up for a massive showdown with him. Terence Crawford remains an all-time great, and if Mayweather's goal is to prove who the greatest truly is, it may be too late, given Mayweather's age. In the end, we must accept that boxing is a sport of eras. While we can admire and compare fighters from different times, we'll never be able to definitively settle who's the best across all generations, because each fighter only competes in their own era. That's all for now. For the latest updates on boxing news, events, and moments, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our content. Until next time, peace out.